Well, hello! Welcome back to my channel, Joshana here, to talk about some friggin' books. Today we're talking about all the books I DNF'd this year. I think I DNF'd about the same number this year as I did last year. I DNF'd 15 books, about a book a month. There was a couple months where I didn't DNF anything, and then there's a couple where I DNF'd 3 or 2, etc. These are in no particular order. They aren't even in order of when I DNF'd them. They're just on a list. So let's go. I'm not going to talk too much about the synopsis of each one. This is more just I DNF'd this and a brief why I DNF'd it. The first one is Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. This one made me sad because I really enjoyed Children of Blood and Bone. I know that one was kind of mixed. Some people didn't really love it. Some people did. There were elements of it I didn't love, but overall, I thought it was really great. I thought it was a fun time, and I was so hyped for Children of Virtue and Vengeance. And then right from the get-go, I was immediately going, what is happening right now? And then the characters just felt entirely different. It felt like someone else wrote the book, which I feel like that sounds mean to say, but that's what it felt like. So I DNF'd around 25%, I think. Just could not be bothered to care. Imago by Octavia Butler. This is book 3 of that series. The Dawn. Oh, frick. What's the first one? I cannot remember. I read the first 2, though, in this trilogy. And by the time I got to Imago, though, I was losing interest in the plot. Octavia Butler's writing is wonderful, in my opinion. And there were certain characters that I cared about a lot, but kind of the narrative timeline was a bit strange for me. And characters that we were focusing on in the third book, there was just some stuff that it just wasn't working for me. So I can't even remember how far I got into it. I think around halfway, if I remember correctly. And I said, no, thank you. I definitely want to read more Octavia Butler. I think maybe this one, because it's so super sci-fi, maybe it just wasn't the one for me, you know? North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. This is one that kind of bummed me out because the authorial voice was really working for me. I thought it was kind of fun and witty and clever and that just British kind of sarcasm, humor in the writing, and I was thoroughly enjoying that. But that book is a chunker. The premise just didn't really interest me that much. So I got about 20% into it or so, and I realized that I didn't really care about the plot. I didn't really care about the premise. And it was kind of a slow journey for me, so I said no thank you. Land of Love and Drowning by Tiffany Yannick. Yeah, this one, right off the bat, I didn't get very far into this. Immediately, we have some pedophilia / incest. And I when it first popped up, I kind of paused and was like, oh, okay, all right, well, that's a little thing we said. All right, moving on. And then, no, we're not moving on. And that's kind of the whole thing of the book, is the father paying special attention to one of the daughters, and it wasn't about it, you know? I'm not saying it makes it a bad book or like you shouldn't read it. Just wasn't what I wanted to read. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. Way too slow, and it's such a huge book. I was struggling to get into it. I thought the writing style and the authorial voice and all that was perfectly fine and perhaps even enjoyable, but good God, so slow. I couldn't. I might try that on audiobook someday, but I don't think I would ever try it again to read it in physical form or on ebook. The Conductors by Nicole Glover. This one was an e-arc I got from NetGalley. This book actually comes out this year now. And the premise is really super cool, super awesome, but it ended up being more of a whodunit than I thought it was going to be, and I wasn't really enjoying that element of the story. This is another one where I would definitely recommend it to people. I mean, I didn't finish it, obviously, but what I did read of it, I read about 25-30%, I think. Maybe actually even more. I think I might have got like 40% or more into that one. But yeah, the plot was just not really grabbing me, and I didn't care to see if it was going to past that point. But it's definitely one where I think a lot of people will really enjoy it. A Blade of Black Steel by Alex Marshall. I read A Crown for Cold Silver, and I enjoyed it, but it took me a while to really get into, and I didn't know if it was just, first book. Nah, it's Alex Marshall's writing style. I don't know what it is about it, that every time I would pick up either one of those books, it's like I felt like I got brain fog. I'd start reading and just be like, what? And it wasn't even complicated. It's not that it's, such a complicated world or anything like that. It's something about his writing style that just doesn't do it for me. I don't know if it's the sentence structure. I don't know if it's the descriptions. I don't know what it is, but it was not working in my favor. Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett. Yes, Bennett. A lot of people love this. Yay for them. The dialogue is what killed it. The dialogue felt incredibly juvenile, and all the characters kind of sounded the same, and it just wasn't my jam. I read a little bit further than I even cared to. I pushed through to 100 pages, because right around 40 pages, I thought, I don't think I'm going to dig this. But I said, no, I'm going to read to at least 100 pages and give it a fair shot. And I did, and not for me. Can see why a lot of people love it, for sure. But if dialogue doesn't work for me, and again, that's not to say that it's bad dialogue. It's just dialogue that didn't suit my taste. From Unseen Fire by Cass Morris. This one I wanted to love. The premise sounded so cool, but I was bored. I was real bored. That's really all that boils down to. Eleanor by Jason Gurley. I read about 60% of this one and realized that it was just too something. It was kind of weird, and shit wasn't getting explained that I thought should have been a little bit more explained. It was just kind of all over it felt a little all over the place. I loved the beginning. Thoroughly loved the beginning. I got very emotional in many parts in the beginning. The writing was super compelling. But then we started getting into this magical realism, sci-fi-ish stuff that for me just wasn't working. Future Home of the Living God by Louise Erdrich. Erdrich. I think it's Erdrich. I've said it a million times. Why am I forgetting now? This is sci-fi, adult, and dystopian, and the writing style was not my jam here. Way too existential. I said it so many times when I talk about way too much inner monologuing for my personal taste, so much ruminating on life and blah, blah, blah. I know a lot of people would thoroughly love this, but it was not for my reading taste. Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. This was a reread that I DNF'd. I was just not in the mood, just totally not in the mood. This is one where I don't know if I ever will try to reread it again. I kind of want to just preserve my happy memories of thinking the writing was beautiful, because it is, but when I was trying to reread it, I just found myself going, I kind of don't care. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betsy White. I can't quite remember what it was about this one, but I think it was just the descriptions of things. It was kind of slower paced and just overly descriptive of random things that I wasn't sure mattered. Maybe they did, but I just found myself being a bit bored and feeling like it was moving way too slow. Queen of the Conquered by Kaysen Callender. I got about 50-60% of the way through this before I gave up. And this one, was it the pacing? I think it was the pacing that was my biggest thing with this one. And I wanted to love it because it's really cool. Caribbean fantasy, historical fantasy. I struggled to, and a lot of people love this element of it. The main character is very morally gray because they've been through some trauma and they want to get revenge, which I understand 100%. But I struggle to reconcile when I feel like a character, especially a main character, when they're sacrificing any integrity for their goals. When you have a goal and you get there by having a lack of integrity entirely, I don't really want to read your story. And it can be very compelling for people. for me, it's not so compelling. I just find myself being irritated and being like, I don't care about your revenge now, because the way you're going about it just rubs me the wrong way. But again, I could see that being a super compelling story for a lot of people, so I would still recommend this. This Side of Paradise by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Don't even remember how far I got into this. Don't remember anything about it. I just didn't give a crap. And there's that. Oh, I think This Side of Paradise is the one where it's like the WASP guy going to an Ivy League school, and back in the day, in the jazz age, I didn't care. Those are the 15 books I DNF'd this year. I fully recommend DNFing, getting in the habit of DNFing books that aren't doing it for you. Why push through? There's so many books that we all want to read. Move on to another one, Oh, that's not even all of them. Oh, I DNF'd another one. Oh my God, I totally forgot to add it. I also DNF'd The Chaos of Stars by Kiersten White, and that one I barely read. Way younger, way more juvenile than I wanted, and the main character was insufferable. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.